one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hello, my dear Cinema Cult friends. I'm Logan from Cincinnati, here with a listener request for the 80s cult classic masterpiece, Vampire's Kiss. Out of all of the vampire films to feature a dramatic recitation of the alphabet, this one is surely the best. Thanks for taking my request, and happy viewings to you.
Welcome back to Cinema Cult. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Honto.
And today we have a very, very special episode. It was a listener request, as you heard. Me and Matt have watched this movie maybe like a month or two ago. And Honto, you'd never seen it, is that correct?
I've seen parts of it, but not the movie in its entirety. So this is like, I feel like this is the first full watch of the movie.
I think the first time I ever caught wind of this movie was Honto showed me the ABC clip back like 10 years ago or whatever. However long we've been hanging out. But that was the first time I ever saw something from this movie. So I'm sorry, Honto, I was kind of surprised that you hadn't seen this before.
I've seen the clips.
It's weird. The first time that I watched this movie was actually, I was writing a vampire script, and I didn't want to watch any vampire movies while I was writing it because I didn't want to steal any ideas. I got done. I was like, oh, cool. This Vampire's Kiss movie. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. So I watch it, and it's the exact plot of my script. And, but just like a darker version. And I was like, oh, wow, man, I would have totally stopped writing that script had I known. So I'm glad I didn't watch it like in the middle of writing it or whatever.
Yeah.
And that movie came out to be Galaxy Quest. That's what
Wow.
I did a few changes.
Completely different movies.
Yeah, completely different. Okay, so Vampire's Kiss from I didn't get the date on, is it 88?
1989.
89, okay.
89.
Vampire's Kiss, 1989. What do you think it has on Rotten Tomatoes? Matt, we'll start off with you. Any number will do, Matt. Just go ahead and say one out loud.
45.
45?
55.
Okay.
Oh, what?
45.
55.
It is a 61% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
wow, really? That's high.
It does. Yeah, well, we'll get to it. What do you think the budget was? Honto, I'll start off with you.
Like 5 million?
Okay, Matt?
2 million.
2 million. That was
Cheater. Nice.
Cheater.
But we do Price is Right rules, and whichever like your guess is, you double it. So yours is actually 4 million, and you add 3 million. So you're way too high. So Honto wins by default. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't make the rules.
What a huge surprise.
Yeah. How much do you think it makes domestically? Honto, we'll start off with you.
I know this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt will not be playing this round.
We're playing this one.
8 million. No, that seems way too much.
Oh my god.
There's
$365 million. 750,000.
Looks like Honto looked it up.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. That's exactly.
Is it really?
Yeah. I'm not buying that. We're not getting two right ones
Honto
in a row.
goes from 8 million. He's like, oh wait, that's too high. Let me go a little lower. 750.
I have this other earpiece that somebody's feeding me information. Well,
right.
You're wrong.
Thanks,
You're
Mom.
too over. You're way over. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Honto's mom.
And then unfortunately, it was not released internationally, so that is quote unquote worldwide. So Honto, man, we're flying through this intro. Honto, take us through the cast and crew.
Vampire's Kiss, directed by Robert Bierman. I've actually never heard of anything else he's done, but the stuff that's on his list is an HBO original film called Apology, Keep the Aspidistra Flying, The Blonde Bombshell, and then like a lot of different miniseries. The movie is starring Nicolas Cage as Peter Lowe. Previous episode, The Rock. Future episodes, Wild at Heart, Yes.
Oh, you're asking. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
One day.
I've never
One
seen
day.
it, so
I would
don't
love
know.
I would love to do a Lynch month.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But this is actually for our Cage month. Face Off? Question
Yeah,
mark?
Face Off. Yeah, Face Off is a future episode.
For sure. Yeah.
Maybe Valley Girl, because I think that's his first movie.
It's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
I
Okay.
like Valley Girl a lot.
I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
And that's all I have for future episodes of starring Nicolas Cage. Maria Conchita Alonso as Alva. She got her start on Moscow on the Hudson, which I think stars Robin Williams. She pops up in Running Man, Predator 2, Colors.
No, go ahead. I was going to say those are 2 future episodes. Predator 2 and Running Man are 2 future episodes.
I feel like we've been hovering around the idea of Running Man for a long time now.
Yeah.
So maybe soon. But yeah, I think she got a lot of acclaim because she was in this theater production of this play called Kiss of the Spider Woman, I think is what it's called.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So she got like a lot of awards, either awards or just acclaim for doing that. Also stars Jennifer Beals as Rachel. She is best known for Flashdance. There's a movie with Matt Dillon called My Bodyguard, which has come up, I think, on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Devil in a Blue Dress, which I think you watched in the Denzel month.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
Runaway Jury, which is a John Cusack movie, and The Grudge 2. Then we have Elizabeth Ashley as Dr. Glazer. She's in a movie that I've seen called Coma because I have the soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch Coma?
I did.
Okay, I just watched it a couple months ago. It was on the Crite channel.
Okay. Yeah,
Criterion channel.
It's a boring movie.
I liked it.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of a surprise how good of a director Michael Crichton was.
Yeah. Because it's basically like a conspiracy movie, right? It's just like your typical, yeah. I remember not being too fazed by it because I think it's like it felt very TV movie-esque, and I think it was a TV movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, I don't think it was. It was a
feature.
Yeah, it was a feature movie.
Oh wow.
Theater release movie.
She also pops up in Dragnet, and then she actually had a recent movie in Ocean's 8. That was her most recent and her last movie that she was in. Okay. Then we have Cassie Lemmons as Jackie. Previous episode, Candyman. She pops up in The Silence of the Lambs, which I just watched last October, which is excellent. That movie is fantastic. And now she's making kind of some waves as a director. She directed, which I didn't know, The Caveman's Valentine, which is a movie I always seen the poster for, but never seen the movie itself. But it stars Samuel Jackson. It's like a homeless man solving a murder, I think. Then she most recently directed Harriet, and then she's also directed Eve's Bayou. And then lastly, we have David Hyde Pierce as theater guy.
That's awesome.
Do me a favor. Do you have your IMDb pulled up by any chance?
I do, but it's on a what are you looking for?
I can get you whatever you want. What are you looking for?
Operator, what are you looking for? This is the operator. What are you looking for?
Give me a phone.
Who was
Give me an
brother?
exit.
Was he anybody?
The brother, I tried looking him up. He didn't look like anybody familiar. Let me see, because he doesn't even have like a Wikipedia page, which is what I'm on.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
No, you're good.
I think the only movie I think I recognize is Firebirds. It's a movie from 1990 starring Nicolas Cage, Tommy Lee Jones, and Sean Young. And I remember because it's similar to I think it's a Clint Eastwood movie. It's all about like this movie, Firebirds, is about like Apache helicopters. And I think Clint Eastwood was in a similar movie called, I can't remember what it is, but it's about like a silent, like stealth helicopter or whatever.
I know.
Silent Helicopters. That's our favorite.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I've seen the cover for this movie so many times. It's him with like, he's like the pilot. He's holding
Firefox is what it's called. So Firebirds, Firefox, similar kind of like themed movies. But
yeah, it's about the internet provider, Firefox.
Yeah, it's how Mozilla got their start in the internet game.
Mozilla. Yeah, these are bad jokes.
But yeah, I'm looking at his thing. He was only in like maybe 12 movies from 1988 to 2016, but nothing crazy.
Okay. Is it our cast and crew?
That's it. I mean, David Hyde Pierce was, I think, the last heavy hitter in this movie. So,
well, thank you for that. Yeah. You're our hero. All right, so let's go and start in this movie. I do want to do this a little untraditionally, just because.
Well, let me interrupt you real quick, Matt. Should I go over the little thing I was working on?
Yeah, it's a part of the cast. It's part of the cast.
So,
don't say what you're getting to. Just start rattling it off.
Christopher, we have Nicolas Cage to Bruce Willis in Grindhouse. We have Bruce Willis to Brad Pitt, 12 Monkeys. We have Brad Pitt to Rebecca Gayheart. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we have Rebecca Gayheart from Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter.
Nailed it.
And that's the show. Good night.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
I'm so glad you remembered that. That's awesome. All right. Vampire's Kiss. I do want to talk about this kind of out of order just because I want to dissect it as we talk about it. And you kind of have to talk about the ending to kind of go through the whole thing. So let's just kind of go through this in like big chunks and just dissect it. So it's about Nicolas Cage. He is a publisher, I think.
He's like a publisher or like a literary agent who's working on, I feel like the main plot of this movie is him trying to find this lost book that he has his like secretary or one of his employees basically looking for the entire movie, and then everything else kind of revolves around this.
Around that, yeah.
It's super minuscule because it's a contract for a short story that this author wrote, and all he does is he just wants a copy of the contract so he can frame it on his wall, and that's what he's making her look for is the contract for this short story.
Yeah.
So,
and he is just like terrorizing, which is what's her name? Maria, Alva, which is Maria Conchita Alonso. Yeah, he's just terrorizing this woman the entire movie. I feel so bad for her.
And that's the thing is that we don't know much about him as a person. We just know that he works at this like publishing firm, and it looks like he's well paid, and he's dating. That's really all you know about his character. You don't know any history or anything. So going on that, there are a lot of things, like something that you're introduced to right away is he's taking this girl out and they're having a good time in the town, and you hear his like accent start to come out.
I don't even know.
Accent.
I don't know what this accent is.
Well, okay. Well, I will say before we like really delve into this, if the audience, if you haven't seen this movie, it is 100% worth watching.
Yes.
And
yes.
I've watched it twice
this year.
In 100% your time, 3 hours of your time to watch on Pluto TV.
Not 3 hours.
That Lowe's commercial that they just keep showing.
Was it Vasper or whatever? Like
Vasper paint, man. It's got us hooked.
So you know nothing about this character, and he starts talking in, I think I described it as like English surfer.
English surfer.
Yeah, it is bizarre, but I think he does that because this character is supposed to be not all there.
Yeah.
And
yes. Okay, so one of the things I did read about trivia is that he made up an accent just that, like, so it would seem like he was trying to sound elegant.
Mm-hmm.
Not,
cool.
You know what I mean? Like his character would have made up this accent to make him sound elegant.
Okay.
Not Nick. Yeah. So there is no relation whatsoever to this accent and to anybody who's ever talked like this on the planet Earth.
Because I feel like it gets crazier and crazier as the movie progresses, and then it even like changes to something completely different towards the end.
Because that's what they're like. One of the things we were saying too is that when he's with his therapist, he doesn't use it that much. But when he's out trying to date and he's trying to find girls, he's really like laying it on thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good point. But after he takes, so he's out in the town with this girl, the accent's coming out in full force, and he takes her home and they're fooling around and a bat flies in. And nothing happens with this bat, mind you. But the rest of the plot is, I'm trying to think what word of this.
Like Jennifer Beals, like, or what do you mean?
He tells the psychiatrist later on, like he was bitten by this bat and he has a Band-Aid on his neck. He's never bitten by the bat.
No, it just flies around.
At least from what we see. Yeah.
Yeah, it just flies around and then he like leaves with the girl. to go wherever. I don't know where they go because the scene hard cuts the next morning. He's at work.
Yeah. And then from the rest on for this movie, that's all this movie is. It's just him going work, going out, going to work, going out, and just watching him go crazier and crazier.
But eventually, I think that literally like the next day, he quote unquote meets this new girl that he has a relationship with, and she bites him on the neck. And then that's where like the transformation finally like is underway, where things just get crazier and crazier as the movie progresses.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you at this point, my first question. Do you think, so Nicolas Cage takes on Jessica Biel, they go at it, he gets bit. Do you think Jessica Biel exists?
I mean, Jennifer Beals, not Jessica Biel of Fever Pitch fame.
Not Fever Pitch, it's Summer Catch.
Oh, Summer Catch. Sorry, get it right.
Okay, I was thinking about that while watching this a second time. Backstory, me and Chris just watched this like a month and a half ago, maybe. And I was wondering if if the therapist was real too. And I was wondering if Jennifer, I'm wondering this time watching it. Sorry, this is a long way around. We're not taking the highway to get there. We're going to go the back road.
Oh, man.
No, I was thinking that she was a call girl. And maybe she kind of he calls her and he has her play out the scenario for him. So when she meets up with him at the end, she's actually standing there with like her pimp.
Oh, I see.
That's not, I don't know. I'm not married.
It's not bad. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's weird because it seems like she's not real because there's literally times where he's like bringing her tea. Here's your tea, and he's like sitting there and he's not giving it to anybody. Or like when he's in the shower, he opens the curtain, nobody's there, but then he sees her at the end in the club, and she's definitely real. Like
she knows him too. She's like, she's like, yeah, I know your name. Like,
yeah. So like, it's weird. Maybe he just has like a deep fascination for this woman or something, and he's just like so mentally unstable to the point where, he's believes that he's become a vampire.
Well, so Nicolas Cage is definitely, it's one of those movies with the unreliable narrator. And so at the end, when he's in the club and he sees Jennifer comes up to him, she's got her boyfriend with her, and they're like, you're a loser, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, let's go. I looked to make sure, and she's wearing the same clothes and everything that she's wearing in the club when she approaches him. Yeah. So that's kind of odd to me. Like, it would have been a really good way to sell it if she was dressed completely
like a different person. Yeah. They're like not a different person, but like different clothes, different hairstyle or whatever,
But she does look different though when he approaches her in the club. I don't know if they did something different with her makeup. She's not as like glamorized. But she does look different when he approaches her. Okay. So I think Jennifer Beal is inside his head. I think they have a one-night stand, or he sees her at a club. Or no, I guess they did date at some point because she even recognizes him at the end.
Yeah, she recognizes him at the end.
Yeah. So she called him Peter. I think she called him Peter and everything. Yeah. So
okay, so then
I think he just has such an obsession or like a fascination with the people he dates that. I think he's just so mentally unstable that,
Yeah, I don't think it has with who he's dating, because he dates that one girl in the beginning and he kind of just throws her off.
Right. Yeah. Which I feel so bad for her.
I do too. But after that first night when they're dating, or after that first night when they kind of like hook up where they're doing, he does his accent and he's like, I made some coffee, and like I couldn't even do the accent if I tried. It's so hard to do.
Yeah.
But he comes in, he's like, don't judge my coffee. Or he's like, I'll get carry out if need be. And he holds like the coffee up to her.
Yeah.
And nothing happens.
Like
and he just shakes it. And so that should be your sign, like right away, that like, this is not reality.
Yeah.
Because even later on throughout the movie, he invites her into the shower and there's no one there. And
and like at the end, he's like walking down the street acting like he's talking to that girl.
Sharon.
Yeah, that obviously that doesn't exist. That we haven't seen her once, and he's talking to her. So yeah, I would think like what you're saying, it plays right into that.
Yeah.
When the thing is, I think, and I wish I knew this for sure, but after he gets like bit, there's nothing on his neck. But
at
like,
least
the next day,
at least initially, because you see him at times try to peel off the Band-Aid.
and he does
right,
it.
well, right when it's about to be revealed if there's a bite mark or not, he covers it back up, so you don't really know. But I think it's implied that he definitely does not have any sort of wound or anything.
Yeah. The only time you do see the bite mark is when he's with her and he peels it back for her.
Mhm.
But that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and he could also have gotten like rabies, and this is like
That's a cool way to
rabies
look at it.
slowly,
From the bat? From the bat, probably?
Yeah. And then this is like the rabies slowly taking effect throughout the movie.
That's actually pretty good. I never even really thought about that. That might be actually...
we don't see the bat ever bite him. So
yeah, and it's possible like he could have, and that's the thing. He's the unreliable narrator.
Yeah,
he's telling you the story, but we don't even really trust him at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as the story goes on, it really focuses for like a good 45 minutes to an hour on him at work, and he's torturing his secretary looking for this contract that even the person who asked for the contract is like, hey man, take your time. There's no rush. But Nicolas Cage is so obsessed with it. And all he does is torture this girl.
Yeah, because he gets off the phone. He's like, that was the client. He was so upset.
I couldn't even get a word in.
Yeah, I couldn't even get a word in. You got to find this, you got to find this contract. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's like, don't worry about it. It's all good. Like, don't worry about the contract. Blah, blah, blah. But he's like, just becomes so obsessed with torturing Alva. And it's kind of amazing at times.
Well, let's talk about like the secret meaning of this movie. I'm going to talk about what I think it means.
No, don't get there yet. Oh, guys,
no.
I want you to get
okay. But there's this story going on under the covers about like relationships,
mm-hmm.
and we see a lot of references. Okay, remember the scene where he's looking out the window and he sees that girl and that guy making out, and the guy's holding like 2 Pepsis. And he's like trying to give like that couple the 2 Pepsis.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's looking at the couple. There's a lot of times where couples are in the background. Another scene is like where the mimes are out front of his apartment.
Yeah.
And one mime's smacking the other one, and the other one spits in his in his face, and
then just keeps repeating over and over. Apparently,
yeah. So we got like this like relationship idea going on all the way up to like the end where he's like, "Oh, I know what I need. I need love." He's like, "Love's what I need. That's what I need to fix everything." All the women that he has relationships in the movie with, he has a different relationship with. Like he has more of a sexual seductive one with Jennifer Beals.
Yeah.
And then he's got an abusive one with Alva.
Yeah.
Alva.
Yeah.
I almost said Alvin like 6 times in there. He's got an abusive one with Alva. And then he's got the one with his therapist where he's like comfortable about like talking about anything,
revealing,
and then also also not having the accent come out as much.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can even like extend that out into like his relationship that he has with
Cassie
the first
Lemmons.
girl. Yeah. Cassie Lemmons, the first one, like the first girl he like dates in this movie.
Yeah.
So like, what kind of relationship does he have there?
Okay.
But I think but the question is, So my question is, what the hell does that have to do with being a vampire? That's the only thing I couldn't figure out.
I think personally, because I don't want to jump to the ending, but I will say what I think the whole movie is about is that he's not a vampire whatsoever, but he is Renfield. I think he.
Oh,
that's what I thought at times, with especially like the cockroach scene.
Yeah, like he's Jennifer. Like he wants to be a vampire. She feeds on him.
Even to the point where he's buying, fake vampire teeth to like.
Which is that's okay. So there's a scene. I don't want to get okay. Let's go a few scenes here. So Nicolas Cage, and I'll get to my whole Renfield spiel.
Yeah, because I want to hear this.
Yeah.
So he's torturing this poor lady, and the way he is like losing his mind, and the entire office puts up with it. Like he's jumping up on desks, he chases her into a bathroom. It's like really intense.
And like the whole like stairwell chase where he's like going down multiple flights of stairs.
Forever. Yeah.
Dude, he's eccentric. Man, he's eccentric.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The one coworker's like, wow, so eccentric.
So centric.
But it gets to the point where he pushes her around so much that she calls in sick to work.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up taking a cab there. This is Matt's favorite part of the movie.
I forgot about this.
So he takes a cab to go see her just to make sure that she's okay. And he checks on her and he's like, hey, I'm sorry. He's like, I pushed you too hard. And she's like, well, look, I'm not really sick. I stayed home because, and he's like, I figured, he's like, it's my fault. Come get in the cab with me. We'll go back to work. All's forgiven. I apologize. So she gets in the car with them and they're driving. It's a cab and they're in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he just switches and he starts yelling at her. He's like, that's why you're going to find the file. And he's
going to
screaming.
find the contract.
And he gets so upset that he ends up, he like gags. He starts like throwing up. It's like this whole like bait and switch thing. And it is pretty funny because you do think like, you can't trust him. So
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, what's his agenda here? And then once it comes out, you're like, man, this guy's a lunatic.
Yeah.
So on their way to the office, she convinces Nick to go stop where her brother works, and she has a gun, but she gets some blanks from him. That's all he has is blanks. And later on throughout the movie, Cage chases her at the office. And they go down a stairwell, and I guess he pretty much like attempt rapes her.
Yeah. First. Yeah. And then
Because it kind of looks like he's trying to feed on her, but it's an odd scene. But he wants to be shot. And I think he wants to die at this point. I think this is a hint of.
I feel like he's also just trying to test that prove that he's a vampire, because he's like.
Yeah, I don't want to like get to the ending part yet, but I feel like in this scene, because like he wants to be shot and he's like begging her, he's like, shoot me. He's like, not the floor, me. And like, it's this really intense scene. He kind of like tries to kiss her, kind of bite her. I don't know exactly what's going on right here. And then he takes the gun and puts it in his mouth and he shoots it twice. And I feel like he's really wanting to die. Like I said, I feel like this movie is there's so many plots going on in this movie.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie.
And
Real
I think it
blanks,
is a big.
I was about to say, I cannot
terrifying.
cannot believe this guy put that gun in his mouth and actually shot the blanks, because there's stuff coming out of his mouth that was definitely part of the blanks.
That's terrifying. But I think like another big thing, I mean, I feel like you got a vampire movie going on. You got you could have you could say this movie's about love, but I think the biggest one is mental health.
Yeah.
And like you're watching this guy like deteriorate, and I really think he's trying to kill himself here because he can't live with himself. I could be completely wrong. Coming on to what happens later on towards the end, I feel like this is a precursor to the end of why he wants to kill himself.
Well, and I think that's what the problem is with this movie is the vampire stuff just doesn't fit.
Oh, it never. I feel like at times it's just like kind of randomly placed here and there, and it's like
it's like. Why does he think he's a vampire?
Yeah. But yeah, I think also it's just, I feel like it could be like maybe he just is so overworked. He's a workaholic that he's like literally only think about this contract. It's driven to the point where he is just like going insane. And now he thinks he's a vampire or something. I don't, there's just a lot of stuff going on.
Your typical case of overworked guy thinks he's a vampire.
yeah, exactly.
Happens all. It's a sad story,
but that's what I feel like. I feel like it's just like you're onto something with him being like his loneliness and his mental state. But like, as far as being a vampire, I guess it's like if you watched a vampire movie at the beginning of this movie, then I can make the connection. Be like, oh, you watched that vampire movie.
Aren't they watching Nosferatu at one point?
Yeah, like 70% into the movie.
Oh, okay. It's later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, well, I can make that connection. But go ahead, Chris.
So at what point so I wrote this down. When he is in the bathroom at work, I think
Which time? Which time?
Well, the part when he realizes he's a vampire.
Oh, when he's touching the mirror.
Yeah. Like, why is this the moment that he realizes? I know what you're gonna say. He's like, where am I?
They're in the men's bathroom. And I'm trying to take a dump.
I'm trying to take a shit. Go to the women's bathroom or something.
Yeah. But why is this the moment it clicks for him? Like the only thing I could think of, and I wish I would have wrote this down, is that when they watch Nosferatu, or when he watches it, is it like right before this scene? Because if it is,
I can't remember.
then that would make sense that he's kind of like, he watches on TV and then all of a sudden it's in his head and he lives it even more, like it takes over.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, okay, so as far as the movie is concerned, do you think this movie is intentionally funny? Do you think it was supposed to be a comedy?
Oh man. We laughed a lot during this.
I think it's intentionally funny.
I think it's a black comedy.
I do too.
Yeah. Because I think it's supposed to be goofy. There's a lot of stuff in it that's supposed to be like, there's no way when Nicolas Cage was doing things that people weren't like snickering behind like the crew. You know what I mean?
Like nobody's watching these scenes and be like, oh my God, this is such a heartbreaking movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the thing is, you could watch that clip. Okay, so we did kind of pass, but the scene where he's talking, there's plenty of scenes where he's talking to a shrink and he talks about, he's like, how can somebody misplace a file? He's like, it's an alphabetical order.
Yeah, the ABC.
Yeah. So that clip out of context makes this movie look really stupid. Like, have you seen this really bad Nick Cage movie from the 80s? Look at this scene.
Yeah,
and it's just really dumb.
It's just him caging out pretty much, look at this scene.
But when you watch it in the context of the movie, it makes sense. And it is funny because he's losing his, it's not funny to see when he loses his mind, but it's funny because you're like, oh man, this guy is like,
you're seeing the progression of him just like going bonkers in this movie.
Yeah. But to counteract what I'm saying, he's going bonkers and he's losing his mind. Is he losing his mind because he is being fed off of a vampire and he's becoming this Renfield type thing?
Yeah, because there is very much that story taking place. And it's what we talked about earlier with Jennifer Beals showing up at the end. She could be easily, that last scene she's in, she could easily be faking her like appearance to him and being like, I like, go away. Like I met you one time, and treating him like a Renfield character.
Mm-hmm. Then she moves on to the next guy.
Yeah.
Because there was when he encounters her in that club and he is like acting all crazy and he eventually like leaves or gets kicked out or whatever, I can't remember. She definitely does look at her like man friend or whoever the dude is that's with her, and they're definitely like smiling at each other as if like mission accomplished. And they're just like, very weird.
I didn't take it that when we watched it that way about a month ago. I didn't take it that way, but this time it is kind of like, you can either kind of take it like, oh man, the guy's a lunatic. Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
Or you can't look at it where it's kind of like,
oh, they're playing
man, like, they're playing both sides. So as the movie progresses, he does get weirder. Like I know he eats a live cockroach. There's no way that wasn't a live cockroach.
Yeah, it was. It was a real cockroach.
Okay. It was definitely real for sure.
Yeah. But as he's losing his mind, he decides he needs vampire teeth. And he goes to this like raise a cult from Ghostbusters 2 type store.
Yeah.
And asks for vampire teeth, and he gets these really nice looking ones.
Like fiberglass or something. Or not fiberglass. It was like, I can't remember what it is. It's very fancy. Did he say that it was $90 or $19?
I thought he said it was 19.
Okay.
Okay. Nicolas Cage used all his cash at the $60 cab ride to get his secretary.
Okay.
So he asks, like, all right, do you have anything cheaper? And he gives him like, he's pretty much like Halloween fake plastic vampire teeth. And the moment that Nicolas Cage puts them in, and the music's like, duh, like it is genius. Like, but that's what I mean with this movie. You can watch it in so many different ways. You can watch, and I feel like this is why this movie is such a roller coaster. You can watch this as a pure comedy, and it's just this like slapstick comedy, or you can watch it as a horror film. And like, oh man, this guy's really transforming into something. Or you can watch it and be like, oh man, this is like a statement on mental health and mental illness. Yeah, and you can watch it straightforward and be like, man, you're just watching this man decline. It's a really like depressing movie. So you can watch this with so many different elements. With the vampire teeth element, like it's ridiculous. Because he ends up putting the teeth in, he crawls around in cement, calls the shrink, and he knows he's losing it. So he calls the shrink and says, hey, I need to see you Monday morning. I have to see you. And
sooner.
Then he like
sooner. She's like, okay, I got an appointment for 10 a.m. Sooner.
But he ends up finding it. He chases a pigeon around, takes the pigeon home and eats it.
Oh my God.
And this is the first of like 2 times he actually like drinks blood, and it makes him really sick.
Yeah.
which like you could, like I said, you could see it as like it's him like transforming, or that he's just a normal person and he just ate a pigeon and that's why he feels like garbage.
Yeah, he just drank blood from a pigeon. Yeah.
So at this point he's losing it. And I think right here is when we kind of get to like the last like act of this movie, because he goes to the club, and it's hysterical the way he goes to the club too, by the way, because there's this huge packed club and there's probably like 30-40 people outside and they're all waiting to get in, and Nicolas Cage with his vampire teeth in pushes away through everybody, goes up to the bouncer, punches him in the stomach, and just runs into the club. But when
like,
he gets
who hasn't done this before?
Cliche.
Like, you ran into a club with vampire teeth in your mouth.
It's the only way to get in the club. I feel like you just got to punch the bouncer right in the gut.
But as soon as Cage gets in, he ends up seeing this girl who's sitting by herself, and somehow he is like totally winning her over.
Yeah,
and
with his with the fake teeth, he's got her.
Yeah, and he ends up being like really forceful with her, and ends up biting her, and it's pretty gruesome. Like, this is one of the few like gruesome scenes of the movie, but it's clear that like he like really got into her neck.
Yeah,
he doesn't use the vampire teeth. Yeah,
he kills her.
So he kills her and he starts walking around. He starts getting his stomach starts getting really upset. And this is when he runs into Jennifer Beals. But it's not, I don't know, it's not the real Jennifer Beals, maybe. It's like the in his head Jennifer Beals, because she turns the corner.
Yeah.
She looks, all dolled up, looks really good. And she's like, "You're a loser." And he's like, "But I love you." And she wants nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend shows up and they disappear. Nicolas Cage goes to chase him in this huge crowd. And I swear, when you do watch it, I'm pretty sure she does look different in the scene.
Okay.
So, like I said, this could play on the part that it was in his head when he sees her, but when he sees her like in real life at the club, she looks different. But he approaches her and he confronts her, and he's like, "Look at her teeth, look at her teeth." And everybody's just kind of laughing, and he gets kicked out. And this is the last we see of Jennifer Beals, right?
I think so.
We get a flash of her at the very end of this movie.
Okay.
Do we?
Yeah.
Right before the credits roll, we get like one more shot of her.
Okay.
Where she's talking straight to the camera.
Okay.
But remember that, Matt, because I want to bring up a really good point about that.
Okay.
So Nicolas Cage gets taken out, and then this is like the utter demise of Nicolas Cage, because he has like a blood goatee all over his face. He's walking through the streets, and like he is gone. Like he's just losing it. And he finds a pallet, breaks it off as like a steak, and he starts asking people like, "I'm a vampire, kill me."
This is real, by the way. They shot this across the street with a long lens.
Like real crowds or whatever.
Yeah, real people. And they just had Nick Cage like on the other side of the street just kind of walk up to people like, "I'm a vampire, will you kill me?" Like,
then somebody just poured a gun, and then that was the end of Nicolas Cage.
Dude, right?
How's that? Yeah.
Well, he's running down the street.
Found the one believer.
Yeah.
And he's yelling, he's like, "I am a vampire. He's like, I am a vampire." And I bet you, I have no idea, this is completely random, but there was a song on the Juno soundtrack, and I know Matt remembers this, and the song was like, "I am a vampire, I am a vampire." And that's what the song was. So I don't know if that is what urged that song on or not, but I like to think it was. But as he's going through the streets, like he is like disheveled, he's a complete mess. And he runs into a corner, and like the minute he hits his head on this corner, in his head, he's in his shrink's office. And this editing is awesome. The editing of this whole scene
is really great. With the way how it keeps cutting, like almost like it's like hard cutting during the dialogue, and it's all connecting very seamlessly. But it's like the dialogue runs fluidly, but it's like between him staring at this wall versus him in the therapist's office. And it is like, it's very good.
Because like in his head, when he's in the therapist's office, he's like standing up on the couch and he's like smooth and he's talking and he's confident.
Yeah.
And then when she asks a question, it cuts to him and he's like staring at the wall and he's like, and like, you don't understand anything he's saying. And like, it's edited very well.
Yeah.
And this seems very effective because this is where you're like, this is the first time I feel like you're really in his head.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, this guy is gone.
Yeah.
And
That it's all fake.
Yeah, and it starts like, I guess this is where you kind of question, like, oh, like all the therapist sessions have those all been just fake?
Yeah.
Ooh, good question. Yeah, that's a good.
At least that's what I took out of it last night. Was like, oh wow, like maybe all the stuff with the therapist is like completely just in his head, or even the phone call or whatever. But yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. There's even we'll get to it, but like there's even a moment where I'm wondering if Alva is her brother's even real, or she's even real.
Oh yeah, because at the end, which I don't want to say yet, but he kind of
you can spoil it. You can
Okay.
spoil it. I like anybody to be like,
yeah. Oh my god, we're 40 minutes in this episode, and basically, like the brother and the sister drive to his apartment. And he's kind of like,
Are we just going through the ending then? Are we just going through that real quick?
I guess so. Yeah.
I guess we're right there. But because after he has this whole like therapist session in the streets,
he has the conversation with was it Sharon? He's like, let me introduce to you, Sharon. It's my other patient. You know, you guys just connect so well. You guys are pretty much similar. And it was like, aren't they talking about like, what are your interests? It's like poetry, long walks. Vivaldi, long walks on the beach. Is like, same here, you know. And then and then
it's like Nicolas Cage is leaving. He comes back. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I forgot to tell you. He's like, I killed someone.
Oh yeah. And he's like, oh, it happens. You know, there's people die every day. You know. And then they go off, like him and this quote unquote imaginary girl, and they're having a conversation where I guess the woman is asking him how he became a vampire, and he doesn't want to talk about it. And this is the part that we rewound a couple times, because he's like talking. He's like, I don't want to talk about it, Sharon. I said no.
Dude, it is the best scene of the movie.
Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, I think she keeps asking him, like the imaginary girl is asking how he became a vampire.
Or was she asking about like a past relationship? And he's like,
I think it's how he became a vampire. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk. God damn it, Sharon. What does that say?
But he walks up to his apartment, and across the street is Alva and her brother.
Yeah, they've been basically tailing him for the last chunk of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And her brother breaks into the apartment, and oh man, this too, when Nicolas Cage is on the ground and he like scurries into his coffin,
which is a couch.
Yeah, that's his coffin.
The couch upside down, and that's like his coffin,
and it's like propped up on books or whatever.
Yeah, and so he scurries under there. Alva's brother shows up and basically is like, "Hey, let's do this. Let's fight." And then Nicolas Cage just takes the wooden stake that he has and holds it to his chest, and like kind of like offers it up to the brother, like, "Go ahead, like push this in me, kill me." And it is brutal. It is a brutal looking scene.
Yeah, I knew about this ending from the times. I think the one time I saw it, like when I was a kid, but seeing it now in context all the way through, you're like, oh man, that is like brutal and kind of depressing.
It's sad. Yeah, it's very sad ending, because then the camera just pans up, and then
the brother's just gone. This is why it's like, the brother's gone.
That's what I was gonna bring up. Like the final shot in the movie, like where the brother should be standing, he's not standing there anymore.
It like hard cuts. So he presses it to the chest or to the heart, cuts to Nicolas Cage, and then when it comes back to wide, he's just like nowhere to be seen at all.
Yeah. Which could be, just to play devil's advocate, which just could be like he just happened to be not in that shot, or they were like, all right, go ahead and get offset.
Yeah.
But this movie has so many like particular like
going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it would make sense that the brother maybe was in his head too. And I don't know. And that's what's so cool. Well, because right after he dies, it cuts to Jennifer Beal, and she's kind of like laughing at the camera.
Yeah.
So if we're playing by the rules of the narrator and Nicolas Cage is dead, then Jennifer Beal's real. She is a vampire because he's dead. So we're not following his story anymore. We're seeing her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's Vampire's Kiss,
or it's like a dying thought.
It's like the last moments, brain waves going through his. You know, the synapses are shooting.
This is the most we've ever dissected a movie, I think.
I know. I feel like it's a really, really goofy movie.
There's actually a lot. There's a lot to digest here, I feel like.
But there's a lot to digest, a lot to dissect.
Yeah.
Me and Chris watched this, like I said, a month and a half ago, and we had a lot to talk about after watching it then. So even now, it's like, yeah, I don't really have my mind made up fully on which way the movie goes. You know, you guys understand?
Yeah. Because I'm kind of the same way, where there's parts that like I was thinking it was going one way, and then something would happen. I'm like, oh, this kind of changes my thoughts on the current, plot or whatever. And I'm actually kind of curious in revisiting again here soon. Definitely not on Pluto TV because I can't sit through another 3 hours, but I'd definitely like to give it another try.
Yeah, I think I've watched this 3 times in the past 2 years, and every time I've watched it, it's been so fresh because you can watch. It's almost like a choose your own adventure. Like, all right, am I going to watch this as a horror film or as a mental health issue? Like, it's really, I don't know. I think this movie is criminally underrated.
I agree.
And so, okay, well, first off, before we rate it, I do want to say, so I didn't make a list of points that it's not real. I think we talked about them all. Like his coffee shaking. He clearly cuts himself shaving, so that's why he puts a Band-Aid on.
Yeah.
And I think he just forgets he cuts himself shaving he just goes along with thinking like, oh, that's where I got bit.
Because he gets bit before the shaving at that point. If I recall, he gets
Does he?
bit. Yeah, I think he gets bit.
Or does he get bit after?
No, I think he gets bit by Jennifer Beal, and then there's a whole sequence, and then he goes and cuts himself while shave, or because I think there's a part where he's already got the Band-Aid on. And then it's like clearly he didn't get bit or cut himself. And then he cuts himself with the shaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay.
And then you're like, okay, there's the cut or whatever. So.
Yeah. But then the other two I had, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah. The other two I had was, I think the biggest one is the blanks in the gun, because you as the audience knows there's nothing in it, but he doesn't. And he thinks they're real bullets. So that I think that's like your biggest thing. Like, I think that's the moment you kind of realize, like, okay, this is all fake. This guy, it's all in his head. We as the audience know that there was nothing in there. But another scene we didn't really talk about, which I didn't catch last time I watched it, was when he's in his office and he looks over on like his like couch or whatever, and he sees the cab driver that was
the cab driver and the wife.
Yeah, because earlier in the movie, when he's taking a cab, the cab driver is like, "Oh, that's a picture of me and my wife."
And that's what I was talking about last night, where I was like, "Is that the same cab driver from the beginning of the movie?" Because I feel like he pops up multiple times in the movie, other than the.
I'm pretty sure that one is different, but that would have been cool had it been the exact same cab driver.
Okay.
Yeah,
because he looked familiar. There's a couple other times where I'm like, even when he calls up the doctor. And there's that young guy that's like with her. And I was like, is that Alva's brother? Because I feel like it's just kind of like a lot of crisscrossing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Different people, popping up. And
well, that's another situation too, where like when he's in the cab with that, the driver, and the driver starts talking about his wife.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of like marriage and stuff. He's talking to him. He's like, that's my sweetheart. And I do everything for her. And so it's like playing more into that theme.
Right. Another
finding the one you love, and then what loneliness is doing to him.
Yeah,
is making him think he's a vampire.
Well, no, that's very accurate, because you got the combination of the bat, and then maybe you got I don't know if we're gonna look farther into this movie. Maybe he thinks the story of Dracula is a very romantic story, and that's how he sees love, is through like that type of thing.
But it's like the equivalent of like if I was like by myself and a fly was in my room, and I was like, "Oh, I'm the fly now."
You're Jeff Goldblum now.
No, I'm Brundle Fly.
But that's the thing, is he is so gone. He's definitely clearly not there. Yeah. So I think it's just all these things add up. Like, oh, there's a bat. I cut myself shaving, and Nosferatu's on TV. Like, it's these things that like build up.
But honestly, I like to watch the movie from what you're saying, that it's the Renfield complex, and that the vampire is using him and feeding off of him, but he like is but in trade is making him crazy.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
that's kind of the way I was going with it, or at least I thought. But like I said,
Yeah.
even if it is going one way, you can watch it with a different set of eyes. I'm like, all right, this time I'm going to watch it and go this way instead. Well, let's go ahead and rate it. It's got a 61 on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll bump it up a full 20. And I'll give it an 81. I think this is a great movie. I think this is very underrated.
Yeah.
That will not be the last time I watch it. Yeah. Hanto, what do you got?
I think, I'll give it like a 75 to 80. I think this is, there's definitely a lot more here, like I said, to digest. I think there's room for me to like watch this again and figure out more about the meaning behind this. In one viewing, I feel like I was not able to capture my full like interpretation of it. But this is definitely, like you said, criminally underrated. And this is like top tier Nicolas Cage for me.
It's good. Yeah.
This
we
is like,
haven't talked about how this movie would be kind of nothing if it wasn't for Nicolas Cage.
Oh, for sure.
Like he makes this movie.
I'm reading the trivia here for IMDb, and apparently Sylvester Stallone was considered for the role.
Dude, I didn't bring that stuff up because if you go further down too, it's like, and so was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis, and it's
John,
like it's one of those,
Travolta.
Yeah, it's one of those trivia things where they're like, "Well, we were going to ask them,
questionable.
but we didn't."
Yeah,
it's still considered though. That's what being
that's not
considered
trivia.
means.
Another piece of this is, I feel like, good trivia is in a 2018 GQ interview, Nicolas Cage said that this is his favorite movie he's ever made.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Okay,
so
no, I think that's awesome. True. I'm glad he likes it as much as we did.
Yeah. So I wonder what he would give it on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll give it whatever he gives it.
There is a commentary on a German Blu-ray release that Chris has been trying to get a hold of. I would love to hear the commentary.
That would be
some trivia
awesome.
On the commentary.
That would be awesome to hear.
Yeah, and with Nick Cage and a director. So
cool. I would love to hear.
Yeah, I'd probably give the movie around like I'm gonna go with Hanto's score between a 75 and an 80. I watched it on Letterboxd. I watched it, the first time I gave it like 3 stars, and then watching it the second time I gave it 3.5. So I'm like dancing around that 75, 80. Yeah. I will watch it again. I feel like this is like the best way to describe this movie is if you really, really like Sleepaway Camp, it's like an awesome, it's an awesome party movie where it's like just getting people to watch it and showing it to them. And
with that being said, get vaccinated and then get together with your friends and watch this movie.
Yeah. Actually, go ahead, Chris.
No, because we did that and it was a joy.
Because at the YMCA that I got vaccinated at, they handed me a copy of Vampire's Kiss as like a consolation prize.
Go watch this with your friends.
Like the CDC says thank you, and I'm like, and I say thank you back.
they give you a piece of paper and it's like, here's the Pluto TV link to watch Vampire's Kiss.
Have fun trying to find it for 45 minutes like we did.
Here's your fake vampire teeth. So I think that is a solid. I mean, I guess all the way around. I mean, we're all saying about an 80% roughly.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm glad we did this, and that will not be the last time I watch it. And I will get my hands on that German release when it drops below $60.
Oh my God!
But so that is Vampire's Kiss, 1989. Thank you for that listener request. That was amazing, by the way.
Yes,
and,
awesome.
Yeah, and for May we do have what was it? May I already zoned out. Oh no, we're going. Is it Combat Month or what's our title for it?
War's Hell.
I mean, I guess we can come up with a title before we do it, but we do have a few movies coming up. We are going to do a Now Playing, which we haven't done. Have we done any Now Playings this year?
Yeah,
we just did.
We literally just talked about Justice League.
Yes, we just did Justice League. But we're going to do the new Mortal Kombat. Kombat. I'm not going to lie. I'm not thrilled to watch it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, and it's not really like that one's not really factoring into our month is war movies.
Yeah,
and we're just gonna do it Now Playing for Mortal Kombat because we just covered Mortal Kombat.
In a way, the movie Mortal Kombat is kind of about war because it's the pending war between Earth and Earth and what is it, Outworld.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
now you put it that way.
Yeah,
I'm the reliable narrator for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, just so the people at Cinema Cult can use it for War Month.
Yeah, exactly. We'll figure out how to tie these things into the theme.
And then after that, we were doing Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
Whoa. Don't go down the list. Don't go down the list.
Well, spoiler, we're doing Inglourious Bastards. Yeah.
Yeah, we might be doing Inglourious
Spoiler.
Bastards.
That's what it
Oh,
is. Spoiler.
And
But
we've got a viewer request.
yeah, we do have a viewer request.
Yeah. And then I think
Across
the last
the
one we
pond.
decided, then we're going to finish off with Top Gun. So
Cool. Way to
You
tell.
literally just spoiled everything.
Yeah, you just spoiled all of it.
I thought the point was so they could watch it. and
We've
they could
never
join
done
us.
that. We've never done that.
Yeah. Oh, we're trying new stuff here over in
All right.
Cinema
So
headquarters.
it's
So
so we're doing Caddyshack.
yeah, war movie. That's a war between Bill Murray and that groundhog or that gopher.
Yeah, the groundhog on Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Do you want to cut that out and I'll just say the one movie?
Yeah, no, we're fine.
Okay.
We're good.
That's fine.
Oh man, I blew it.
Next
No
month,
surprises.
next month there will be a surprise. So
Yeah.
I thought Matt was shaking his head because he didn't want to do any of these movies. He was like, "No," and I was like, "Wait, am I saying?"
Well,
the
no, I
wrong
just didn't know
things
we
here?
were like A, solidifying it, and B, like just telling the audience exactly what we're doing for next
dude,
month.
just like
And then we're trapped again.
Any war, we're just jumping the gun here. We're just all out shootout, just listing off all the movies that we're doing.
I know.
For
But
war
like,
month.
what we did this, like, then we're trapped and we're like, you know what? I really don't want to do virtuosity.
Dude, I know, but honestly, all the movies we have lined up are solid movies.
Yeah,
it's
they'll
gonna
be-
be,
yeah,
May's
they'll
gonna
be
be a
good.
good month.
They'll be good.
yeah, I'm excited for
virtuosity will never happen again. So, dude, I'm telling you, you guys missed out. Not a good movie. So
I've seen it before. I know it's not a good movie.
I'm sure I watched on HBO back in the day, and I do not remember any of it. So
Well,
Anyway.
prepare for our upcoming movies. We'll figure out more ways to tie the movie to From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter. So stay tuned for that every episode.
and then if anybody's got let's bring this out. If anybody's got a viewer request for our June month, it's going to be summer films.
Summer films.
So
or is it back to the beach movies?
Movies that take place in the summer or just around the beach. I don't
We'll
know.
call it
Summer.
We can
summer
call
movies.
it summer. Nah.
Oh, you're doing like
Yeah.
a Grease.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was really good.
Nice.
That was
Nice.
really good.
Thanks. I
But yeah,
appreciate it.
not summer blockbusters, summer movies.
But if you do want to know more about summer blockbusters, we do have a CinemaCult TV episode on YouTube, which is all about
we do.
summer blockbusters.
Yep.
So check
We do.
that out.
Yeah.
Give us a like and subscribe.
Yeah, and we're trying to announce more of our months ahead of advance. That way, if you have anything that you want to request, we want to try to do one listener request a month. That'd
be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're hitting a good stride here. So yeah, keep them up.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know why I said thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
Yeah, keep doing that. That would be great. If you do have any requests, you can hit us up on Facebook or you can email us at.
CinemaCultPodcast@gmail.com.
And thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
I'm Honto.
And we'll see you next time.